Hi, so my name is Carina Vasquez. My thesis director is Dr. Allie Smith of the Honors College, and our second reader is Dr. Amber McCord of the College of Media and Communications at Texas Tech. So the name of our project is called The Impact of Social Media on Vaccine-Related Legislation Following Measles Outbreaks. So just to begin, according to the World Health Organization, vaccine hesitancy is one of the top 10 global health threats at the time. So many people in the United States currently are choosing to exempt from getting mandated and required vaccines. So the rise in exemptions is actually leading to measles outbreaks, even though measles was declared eradicated in 2000 by the World Health Organization. For the year 2019, there were over 1,200 cases in the United States, and this is the most that we've observed in the 21st century. So in response to these measles outbreaks, some states have passed pro-vaccine legislation, and then some states have passed anti-vaccine legislation. So the pro-vaccine legislation is aiming to make exemptions harder to obtain or completely eliminating them. So for example, California and New York decided to completely remove religious and personal belief exemptions respectively. So in those states, you can no longer claim exemptions based off of that. But in Arizona and Texas, anti-vaccine legislation was actually proposed, and these bills sought to make claiming exemptions easier. But something interesting to note is that neither the Arizona anti-vaccine legislation or the Texas one actually passed. So in this study, we sought to determine what exactly was influencing these states to make these decisions relating to these vaccine-related bills. We hypothesized that social media platforms such as Twitter influence public opinion on vaccination, which consequently affect legislation. So for this study, these are the bills that we will be looking at. The ones in green are the pro-vaccine bills that passed, and the ones in red are the anti-vaccine bills that failed. For our approach, we used the Twitter Advanced Search tool to identify social media content related to the bill of interest. So the search was geared towards tweets that specifically contained the names of the bills. And then tweets were collected within specified timeframes, as shown here. The specified time frame for each bill started on the date when the bill was first introduced and ended when a decision was made on the bill. The search results yielded a total of 387 tweets for the sample analysis. After collecting that sample of tweets, we looked at each of the tweets and determined what their sentiment towards the bills was. So some tweets were coded as positive and were in favor of the bill, some were coded as negative because they were in opposition of the bill, some were neutral, and then some were unclear. The overall sentiment for each of the bills is shown in these graphs. So the ones in red are the bills that failed, and the ones in green are the ones that passed. So the ones in red were our anti-vaccine bills that sought to make exemptions easier to claim. So as you can see, the majority of these tweets were actually negative and in opposition of the anti-vaccine bills. And then if you look at our other bills from New York and California, the pro-vaccine bills that actually sought to remove religious and personal belief exemptions, the majority of the tweets were also negative. Finally, a chi-square test was performed to determine the statistical relationship between sentiment and bill outcome. After performing our chi-square test, we determined that the results for sentiment predicting vaccine-related legislation did not reveal a significant test statistic. So it doesn't appear that social media is actually influencing vaccine-related legislation. The decisions made regarding these bills were not made in response to or in accordance with what people were saying about the bills on Twitter. Although 2 were pro-vaccine and 2 were anti-vaccine, the majority of the discussion for all of them was negative. So this supports the conclusion that no matter the nature of the proposed legislation or in what context, people prefer to voice negative opinions on Twitter more often than positive ones. Thank you to the Texas Tech University Honors College and Dr. Smith and Dr. McCord and everyone who supported me along this journey. Reckum.